think I have the subscription where you don't buy. Anyway, I'm Pat.
Oh, I'm Jeffrey.
Oh, I did an update, but I have the 365. There's a problem. I don't think my computer will actually run Windows 11.
Well,
I don't know.
well, so I know I've just been putting it off on that computer. I haven't even messed with this one here. Is supposedly there's a security chip that's in your computer,
Okay.
right? Now, they say that every motherboard that was manufactured after 2012 is supposed to have this,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Now, I guess like with me and probably yours too, it was probably turned off. It's turned off in the
Mm.
BIOS, right?
Oh,
Now,
gonna get in there do some dip switches, huh?
well, I mean, so here's the thing. The problem is it's a little bit.
Rolling up my sleeve.
You don't have to open it up. You just have to basically do like the F8 start, the interrupt start, go into the
Okay.
BIOS. There's going to be something in there that's called something like super security chip or something like that. It's different on everything. That's the
All right.
problem, right? And on most people's setups, especially if you bought it from like Dell, they have it turned on. If you bought it from
Mm.
Compaq, no, who makes
Back then,
computers? Well, who makes computers now?
Acer.
Yeah, Acer. If you
Uh,
bought it from Acer, then you probably have it turned on. If you assembled it,
I
then it was probably turned off,
Mine was assembled, and you
as
know
was
what?
mine.
Actually, I did do a check on that a while ago. Now I'm starting to remember it. It said, no, unfortunately, your computer does not support Windows 11. So,
It's almost certainly that. That's exactly what
okay.
I looked into here. So check that out. It's just a flick into the BIOS. That's how you do it. I just haven't done
Ooh,
it yet.
yeah.
Um,
Haven't gone down memory lane like that in a while. So,
so you should be okay. Um, I mean, if that's the thing, if that's the thing that tells you, like, oh no, this is, excuse me, wife, my computer can't support the latest Windows. I have to buy a new one.
I don't think she'd go for that right now. So,
I mean, you could show her. You could show her when the thing popped up. You say, like, see, honey, it just,
she would be like, well, I don't use my laptop that much, so you can use that.
right, I understand, and what you're saying makes sense. Don't get me wrong, right?
Right.
I got you. It's not a work thing. It's
Yeah.
an everything kind of
It's
thing.
an everything thing. Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
I can't play Cyberpunk on your laptop.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I tried playing like The Witcher 3 on her laptop once and it started to chug.
that's
So,
gonna chug. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not like this either. It's like a work laptop, not a gaming laptop. So, I haven't priced one of these out in a long time.
I
So,
haven't either.
I'd almost be tempted to get a gaming laptop with the dock. So, well, you don't do the dock anymore. You just do the output to a monitor. So,
You do that, and you can if you want. They do have external video cards that you can plug into it.
right.
Um,
Hmm.
it takes your chances
You
with
take
it.
your chances with it. I don't know, man. I think I priced out building a brand new PC not too long ago, and it was considerably cheaper than it was like a year ago. So,
It just depends on what you want to get in it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't need the latest greatest on that, man. So,
Nothing does.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Nothing does.
So,
There's really nothing that people care about that's really
mm-mm.
uh, pushing the demand for super high end cards right now.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Ravioli run mining has gone down.
That it has. I mean, I do know that a lot of processing stuff is going to AI now, but that's different.
That's different. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's different. Yeah. That's not done on your machine.
Nope.
So, yeah, that's yeah.
Now there was talk for a while there about basically using uh, in the same way that mining used to use. There was a talk about basically opening that up for people to offer their processing power for
Online gaming.
no
Yeah.
no
Oh.
no for AI
Oh, okay.
to basically let yourself be processing power for AI pools.
Yeah, why didn't they do that?
I just don't. I don't think it worked the same way.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, there was talk about it, but it didn't seem to materialize.
Hmm. Well, now, I mean, like I know a couple guys who manage some of those data centers where they do a lot of that shit. So, and like the power consumption is bananas.
Ridiculous.
It is
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah. So, in fact, down south they got one humongous solar farm out there. That's basically what it does.
Right.
So yeah, you know.
I mean, it's funny because if you look at this, the same exact people who used to bitch and moan about the power that basically cryptocurrency used to consume to
It was always a dumb argument.
um me personally, I think so. It was a roundabout way of saying that you don't like something.
It kind of, yeah, see, it always had that hint to it. It was
Yeah.
like, no, oh, okay, so you're mad that you didn't buy Bitcoin at $1,500, let alone $150. Got it. So this is obviously bullshit.
And I get it. I do. I definitely understand that. But that being said, there is a crypto has proved its value over time. That's the thing is
Yes,
if it
it's
were going to go away, it would have gone away.
if it were going to melt down for parts, it would have done so
Yeah,
already.
yeah,
I don't know, man. I think that like that's kind of my canary in the coal mine, though, man. We were talking about pending economic potential collapse.
yeah. Did you
That will go first.
in the days that I haven't seen you? Did you research into that a little bit?
I was looking into housing. There's actually like the housing shortage thing is actually kind of a myth. So, I mean, you don't see that because it doesn't make for popular YouTube videos and
Hmm,
stuff like that. Because I did go through a bunch of like angry guys trying to move to Denver, whatever, kind of stuff.
fair enough.
Um, but like the thing is like, so if you look at like, there's cities out there like ours that have expanded a lot,
Yes.
but there's always been like this like 1,500 to like 3,000 like shortage. Always. It's like it's just like icing on the cake as it goes up. And so it's like,
I mean,
okay, all right, so and then this guy was explaining to me, he's like, well, yeah, that's that like every I mean, when they say there's like 1.2 million less homes, basically all they're doing is aggregating every last municipality in the United States and just adding that little bit because every town, unless it's going down, like Detroit style,
yeah,
it has that housing shortage.
yeah.
And so it's like, all right, so what's the deal with the housing prices? And so that, I mean, I've heard this argument before. It's like, like you have these major builders like Pulte and Toll Brothers and stuff like that out here, and there's tons of them all across the United States. Well, like 10, 15 years ago, they figured out that you can upcharge a house by about 15 to 20% with like less than 2% in terms of upgrades into it. So you go into a house that's got Formica counters like you've got, or granite counters. Which one do you think is more expensive? The granite counters,
Right.
but they're
Right.
not. When you build at scale, it's not. They're just charging you more. It's a
Oh, I see
marketing
what you're
thing.
saying.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you buy that much of it, that basically defrays the cost.
Correct. Exactly. So, now if I want to get granite countertops, I got to have a guy. He's got to come in and do the measurements. He got to, pick out my style. I got to wait for him to cut it. He's got to send 5 goons out to haul it. All that stuff, right?
That's correct. He's also going to show you that here we can pour this thing in a day. It'll look exactly the same and cost you about a fifth as much.
Exactly. Yeah. But the home builder is not going to do that. So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I was looking into that a little bit. So that's one of the things. And there was this one guy that I was watching. He was doing like price house per house comparison between like what. So like a basis point of like 100 housing bucks. Okay, what would that buy you in 1955 versus 1995?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The 1995 is way the fuck more. So in terms of like how much house you get and like what kind of
Oh, yeah,
amenities and all
yeah,
kinds
yeah,
of
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's like, oh yeah, back in the day, like, okay, so you'd have a 20,000 or 2,000 square foot house. It would have one fucking bathroom in it.
Well, I mean, when you okay, yeah, 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 yeah. So when you okay,
It would have a carport. Yeah.
no, 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 no. You're absolutely right. Okay, so there is something to be said about you know, you have the person that absolutely looked into this where they're like, okay, so what is this? It's like, I bought my house in Hollywood Hills for ten
Exactly.
thousand
Yeah.
dollars,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And the house you look at, okay,
Hmm.
what it looks like is about, I don't know why, but all of those old houses at that point, okay, they have no basement,
Mm-mm.
they have that same roof, and all of them look like just one tech level below like a 1980s Pizza Hut, right?
Yeah. Very much
They're
so. Yeah.
one story.
Tech
They
level.
look, yeah, because they don't have the big roof, but they have that same slanted roof.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
it's basically like two or three rooms,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And everybody, like when you talk about it, it's like, well, how many kids did you have? We had four.
I know.
And
Right.
so we're talking three kids would sleep in the same room
Fucking
kind of
Navy
shit.
racks built in the
Yeah,
walls. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so then they turn around and they say, like, well, so what happened with this? It's like, okay, well, now it's 2024, 25. It's
Mhm.
like, yeah. Um, so this land that I'm on,
It's
right?
worth a mint. Yeah.
Because here's the thing, it's the land that it's
It
on.
is the land.
It has nothing to do with the fucking house because
No.
the first thing they do is they bulldoze that shit,
Well, if you're
right?
gonna buy in that neighborhood, yeah. Like my aunt, she lived in a really nice neighborhood of Chicago, and she had bought her original house in like 1955 for like 7,500 fucking
This is
bucks.
what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that was a shitload. That was still several years worth of income.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But I mean, it was also it was like two bedrooms with one bathroom. There was not a master bath. There was a hall bath. Okay, and then a kitchen, and then she actually did have a basement, but then she only had one big living room. That was it. There was no dining room or anything like that. House was probably like 1,800 square feet total. So, kind of thing. But she would live like 6 blocks away from a university and a fucking train station that went into downtown Chicago. So, when she sold that house, and this is way before, like even like 2008, and the crash and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So she
yeah.
probably sold it 2002, 2005 ish, and my uncle had been dead for many years, and she wanted to move back to where the rest of her family was, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, immediately, I mean, her whole neighborhood was, and she was on a big, like, half-acre lot. And so it was a big lot with a garage that they had built behind the house, kind of thing. But it was a big lot with big mature trees, and it was all the location. And she sold that for like $1 million. Okay, and immediately, yes, the wrecking crews were there within days. So
So they're just waiting for the ink to dry.
just fucking
Yeah,
scraping that thing down on
yeah,
the sidewalk so they can put a McMansion on it.
yeah.
So yeah. So I mean that's part of it. I mean it was kind of interesting. There's actually a lot more. So this is something that kind of threw me for a little bit of loop. There's actually a lot more like housing stock now than there used to be, but there's not as many apartments as there used to be.
That I've heard too.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I was like, that
yeah.
kind of blew me away. I was like, really? Because like you go downtown right now, that's all they're building is those stupid 501 condos, and stuff like that. You know, they're everywhere. We drove through it on the way back from fishing the other day, just because fucking I-25. But and fuck, they're everywhere, dude. So, and I mean, they really built that place up down there, like and I mean, then you'll see like multi-million-dollar condo complex followed by like 1898 ramshackle fucking boarded up shack, where somebody's just sitting on the fucking land.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, oh, there's the neighborhood pawn shop. There's the weed store. Yeah. And then right next to it, it's like, yeah, this land is worth so much money. I mean, you don't care what's on it. So you're just going to sit on it because eventually someone's going to come knocking on your door.
Right.
Or maybe not. I mean, that's the other thing. I was looking at like just like house prices in general across the state have been flat for about 2 years. So they've been flat. So there's like some neighbors, some towns have it a lot worse than we. Like Fort Collins has got it bad right now. Denver's got it bad. Parts of Denver.
Well,
So
okay. Let's also preface it with this, right? If Fort Collins and Loveland have it bad, part of that is because they had it so good for like 25 straight years.
yeah, I think Denver's kind of the same way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean here it was a lot more steady. So
Well, no, and that's the thing is you can even pull like national statistics about where this place actually lands, and this place is actually it's model in terms of what you want to see, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
housing prices do for the most part. Versus, yeah, that rocket ship, that northern Colorado rocket ship.
yeah.
Um, and that's
And people have been moving out of there. So they've had net negative population growth in both Denver and Fort Collins the last 3 years. People
I
have
think you
left.
have to.
Yeah, I know.
I
Well,
think you
your brother
have to.
did. I
Yeah.
mean, he's been gone a little bit longer than that, but
Right. Right.
he's not the only one that I know. Who decided fuck Northern Colorado. So, you know, and here I was actually looking, like the census has us projected out like 2030, which isn't that far off if you think about it. It's 5, 6 years. Okay, like the city here itself is supposed to be like 775,000 people, which puts the county at like 1.2 million.
Right.
It's
Right.
crazy, man. So,
Yeah. In any other state, you'd have a basketball team.
any other state you'd have
You
a
would.
basketball team,
You would.
even if it was a much smaller state.
You would. You would. Now, granted, that would be your only sport. That would be your,
Yeah,
say, for example, Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City, not a big place.
not a big
It's
place.
really not that big place,
It's smaller than we are. So
considerably, actually.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
so is Omaha. So in Omaha, like I went to Omaha so many times, but downtown Omaha looks like downtown Denver, but it just doesn't keep going over the horizon in terms of city sprawl. So
Right. Yeah, it's sort of, is it scalable, I
I
suppose?
suppose
Yeah.
it's definitely walkable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but like here, yeah, they did approve that 30-story condo building that they're going to build down there. So
Really?
yeah, they did. They're going to build a brand. We're going to have a brand new tallest building in town. So the next couple of years. So
And it's going to be dark green.
it's
It's
going to be dark green.
yeah.
Why?
Isn't that high density?
Oh yeah, no, on the outside. Well, they already zoned it dark
Yeah,
green.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know what they're going to paint the
Okay.
building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's high density residential, right?
High density residential. It's going to be with a commercial floor basement with a commercial.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's very metropolitan.
and there are a couple people who live down over Pikes Peak Avenue. So you're going to block your view, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, yeah, but move. So, you're going to be able to afford it if they build something like that next to you.
So that's the tough one, man. It's like, yeah, it could happen. It's like, so is it still there?
Well, I mean, think about how big the fucking city is. You're talking about like one little finger.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're talking about like maybe 3 square blocks.
That's what I'm saying.
People are like,
Is
it's
the view? Is that
like
all
the
that?
rest of you can't hold us fucking hostage. We're not doing this.
Is that shit still there?
Right.
If you get out
Right.
and walk just a little bit that way, can you look at it?
Right.
Is
How
the
often do you spend your days looking at the mountains?
Well, and not just looking at the mountains, but being in such a place where you're like, fuck, this is cool. I really wish I was doing this indoors.
Right.
Not any indoors, but my
indoors. Yeah.
You know what people don't do? This is the shit that people say that it's like, I have this so I can, I want to have my morning coffee out here and I want to just look at the mountains for a little bit.
Okay.
Right. It's kind of like, how can I say this?
The mountains are taller than the building too, man.
Well, they are. I guess I'm trying to say, okay, so I get it. It's like buying a vinyl of Kiss Animalize. So you bought it and you're like, I'm going to appreciate this, but you listen to it once and put it right back in the sleeve.
Right. Yeah.
And then you're just like, well, I own it.
Right. Yeah. It's part of my collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you listen to it? It's like, no, but I have it.
I listen to good records.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this whole shit about like, oh, well, I can use this anytime. It's just the same kind of it's the same kind of thing where yeah, and you're going to use that as sort of the excuse to say like, okay, well, I don't want this to happen. Okay, well, again, that's not the reason that you don't want it.
Mm-mm.
That's the reason you're giving.
Yeah.
The reason you don't want it is because you don't want high density residential in your area.
Yeah.
because that means minorities.
Well, I wasn't going quite that far, man. I mean, and to be fair, okay, this is not exactly the kind of place where you're going to be building like the PJs. Okay,
No,
I
no.
mean, this is like going to be. I think they said that the average price for a condo unit in there was going to be like 1.2 million
Holy shit! To buy?
to buy it.
Well, I
Yeah,
presume they're going to be renting some of these, right?
I don't know.
No, they just
So
film the
I
whole
have no
fucking
idea.
thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jesus.
Maybe a little bit of both. Who knows?
Okay, well, got it.
But yeah, like even like there's a whole bunch of lofts you can get down there now, and they're like $600,000-700,000. So and to live in our downtown is like, well, that's dumb. So apparently, like a lot of people were into it, man, because there are a shitload of them down there now. So the bike lanes are clogged.
That's another reason I won't live there. And
Mm.
I mean, okay,
No,
so
me neither.
so I have no problem with wanting to live down there, and you can make the argument. You can say like, all right, well, it's sort of it's there's a cultural aspect to it. There's a, but that's the problem is I'm well aware of the place. It's not. There's no version of this where you're just kind of like I can feel the heart of the city beating here. It's like, yeah, no, you
No, not
can't. It's
really.
not.
Yeah.
Don't fool yourself into thinking that that's what that is.
No, I mean it's no, and it's like so out of all the towns in Colorado, ours probably has the lamest downtown because it's absolutely the smallest. So like you go down to Pueblo, it's like 10 square fucking blocks. And every block's got a different type of restaurant on it. It's got a chop shop. So it's got some kind of historical landmark. It feels like a downtown. Denver's the same way. You go up there, it's a humongous downtown area.
Yeah.
Here ours is like 8 blocks long and 3 blocks wide. So,
Well, a lot of it's the park.
and there's a park.
So there's the park.
Yep.
All right, got it. There's the
There,
park,
there's
and
like there's like one drag that's got restaurants on Tejon.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, but they always change. I mean, there's a few of them that have been there forever, but like the bars change all the time, the clubs change, even the tea houses change.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's because, to be fair, downtown's a bitch to get to. So, and parking sucks.
Parking sucks.
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, compared to other downtowns, our parking is joyful and respectful
But
and
you're not
loving.
going to a
And
baseball game, man.
you're not going to a baseball game.
Yeah.
That is a fact, right? But in terms of what other places will rape you for downtown,
Oh yeah.
right? When you're talking about how long were you in Manhattan? It's like 2 hours. How much did it cost you? $41.
Oh, $41. Yeah. It's like a meter that runs.
It's like for fucking what? Right? So
Right.
so I could leave my car right here. Now, if you're making the point, right, and people have said this, they've said like, listen, we don't want anybody but the ultra rich driving in here. We want you on our mass transit systems,
Oh yeah.
which we will keep affordable, free if you're an asshole who's willing to jump over the turnstile,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
right? But we want to keep this affordable, and we want only the people with tons and tons of money to drive cars. I would say, okay, that's not a problem for me because I would never drive here.
No, I'm not going there anyway. Yeah.
You couldn't. I would never take a road trip there. I would never bring my own car in that place.
In
Right?
Manhattan?
Hell no.
Oh hell no.
Absolutely
Oh.
not. Absolutely not. So fuck all that shit. So like, all right, I got you. But the punitive way that they treat people that park there, I'm like, man, you guys are vicious.
Oh, in Manhattan?
Yeah.
I don't even
Yeah.
know about it anymore. So, other than what I've seen on videos. So, but
But everything there is expensive. So I mean, I guess
It's New
why
York,
should it?
yeah.
Why should anything? It's always been that way.
it's always been expensive, man. It was expensive when we went there 30 years ago. So, it's just crazy. So, but like, yeah, I mean, here, I mean, I was looking at all these indices, man, and stuff like that. It's actually cheaper to live here than it is in most places in Colorado.
Yep.
Surprisingly.
Yep.
So I thought for sure that we were going to be in like the top 10. Nope, we're in the bottom 10. So,
That's correct.
I mean, you can still get a new build house here. So our grocery index was like 1 for 1 compared to the rest of the country's average. Our healthcare was like 0.8 to 1. It's cheaper here. The other thing that was cheaper here is our utilities.
By
So
a wide margin.
by a wide margin. Yeah, you're not getting raped by Excel Energy.
Correct.
So yeah.
Yes.
So
Have you noticed that with our specifically with our energy system with Colorado Springs Utilities, the other thing that they do here is they do have to raise rates times at times, right?
yeah, we just did it not too long ago.
Right. Now the thing is when they do it, not only do they not do it that often, but they're incredibly apologetic when they do. And they explain exactly why it's happening.
Yeah, they try to.
I know that they're having something here where the next step is going to be like, um, they said that we are going to be raising and lowering some rates because it's going to be about peak hours.
That doesn't surprise me.
And so what their argument was, look, you can actually pay less than
Yeah.
you were. It's like on average, people will pay more, but depending on what you do, you could pay less.
Yeah.
They said this was our way of abating having to add this earlier than it needs to, which would cost more. I mean, that's the thing. There's this version of this where, wow, thank you for just telling me what's going on here,
Mhm.
right? And I respect that a lot. And this is when it comes to managing the Colorado Springs RCI in terms of balancing like houses, commercial, industrial, right? That does in terms of making sure that people like if you want a house, they're there. If you want a medium house, they're there. If you want an expensive ass house,
They're there.
they're there.
Yeah.
Right? If you want an expensive and old house,
They're there. They
they're
exist.
there.
Yeah.
Right? And so, when you talk about looking at the average, you go to places where I think the real heartbreak is when you go to the places and you're like, fuck man, look at this tiny little shithole you get for 650.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No.
That's where I think you got
There's
big
definitely
problems.
yeah. No, but I mean, you find those in like really, really, high demand place like Denver, like
I
Boulder.
would say, what is Boulder?
Boulder is full of like ancient houses and just they're fucking tiny and dumb, and, and they cost like $1.2 million. Yeah, when we didn't even live in Boulder, we lived like across the fucking border, in Broomfield. Yeah, or no, maybe it was Morrison at that time. Yeah,
Right.
I can't remember, but it was like, wait a minute, driving 10 more minutes? Yeah, we're gonna
Right. Yeah.
like, and there's so I mean, and there's like a couple exclusive communities that are like that, but older parts of the bigger cities are like that, man. And so, like, personally, I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
houses down like on Nevada and Cascade are ridiculously overpriced. For what I mean, they're pretty and stuff, but
On the outside?
yeah, but like I mean, it's just it's like $1.2 million for a house that's 140 years. No, so
Well, yeah, I'm with you. Well, because look, let's just face it. All right, when it comes down to it, you still got to cut the grass. You
yeah,
still
exactly.
you still live in an area. That's the thing. As you go down to Nevada, I'm like, I'm sorry, it's an expensive house,
Hmm.
but you are not that far away from people walking around and breaking into your shit or
Oh,
fucking
downtown?
causing some
Yeah,
trouble. No, you're not.
I don't know,
Um,
man. Downtown's not the worst part of town,
no, it's
though.
not.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things like, but I wouldn't want to park my car on the street.
Oh Lord, no. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no. Especially
yeah.
not in Nevada. Fuck
Fuck
that.
that.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's certain things where like, okay, so what's the benefit? It's like, okay, it's just having this house in this place,
Right, it is. And
right?
it's, I get to live on the old North End thing. I mean, we almost bought a house down there ages ago, and I am so glad we didn't do that because that is not a starter home,
Oh,
man.
right. That's an ender.
It's like, what is
That's
this?
not.
This is a coal chute? How does this work? So,
Yeah, I agree with you. And again, there are people that women mostly that are kind of like, oh, I want my house to have personality. I don't want it to look prefab or
who the
manufactured.
fuck? You spend more time inside it than you do outside looking at it. So,
Again, when it comes down to it, you listen to fucking Animalize once. You
right.
you
Yeah.
you appreciate like, wow, look at the outside of my house. Cool, there are mosquitoes out here. I'm gonna go
I'm
back
gonna go
inside.
back
Right?
inside. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing is so what? If you're going out there every day to sit there and enjoy the look of your home, got it. If you're one of those people, wonderful.
Yeah.
If you're not, if it's just there, were there better things that you could have spent that on in
Well,
terms of house? Probably.
Probably. Yeah,
Probably.
probably.
I mean, especially when it comes down to, so the first thing I would ask you is like, okay, so if you have that house, it's like, all right, that's perfectly cool. Do you work close to here? If you do,
Mm,
makes perfect
yeah.
sense. Makes perfect sense. If you get down to it and say like, well, what do you do? It's like, well, I typey type on my computer.
Why do you need to live? Yeah.
That was worth $1.2 million
Right.
to live here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, pass.
it's
Yeah.
like, because if you don't take that money, right, I'm gonna get you like twice the house size. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it right for you, twice the house
Yeah.
size,
Yeah.
and 9 times the yard size. 9 times the yard size. I'm gonna get you that. You can go ahead and raise your own cattle,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Raise your own cattle. Drive four wheelers, stuff like this here, right? And again, I mean, there's the other component where people do say, and if this is you, where it's like, I like to get out and do the things that are down here. No problem. That makes perfect sense to me. And if
Yeah.
you do that, that's cool. But I think there's a lot of people that are just kind of like, no, I go to work, I come home, done.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
especially like depending on what part of your life you're in. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, if you're doing the grind, then maybe
maybe.
you shouldn't spend that much money on that kind of house, so you don't have to grind as hard. So
But that being said, yeah,
maybe
hey, I'll also say this. If you have the money and you want to spend the money on that, by all
it's
means
your
do
money,
it.
dude.
Yeah,
You do what you want with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, spend by all means.
Yeah.
It's good for all of
Mm.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a wacky thing. It was weird, yeah. Because when you were talking about it last time, yeah, there was something where I looked. I even like today the most recent numbers. I was like, nothing
It looked
is
pretty good.
bad. Like when they looked at, they said like this is what the actual GDP growth is. It's bigger than expected, and
Yeah.
and um, I'm like,
All those guys who were screaming about tariffs were wrong. At least to this point. We'll see.
that can change.
That can change. You might
That's
be
not
right
something that
about
you get
that.
all the answers for overnight.
I've
But
learned not to listen to a lot of economists. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's
It works great on graph paper, but in the real world, it's just like, wow, you predicted that we would be like, fucking changing over to a bullet and sand based economy here, and that turned out to be wrong. So,
I agree.
I'm kind of a little sour on that. It's like those guys and realtors and all this stuff either, you know. Tax lady's good to have. Having a good tax lady is a good thing, you know.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, like those others, like so-called specialists, it's kind of like, all right, guys, I get you, I see your racket.
Well, look, I want one of the things that is always appealing to me, regardless of whether it's correct, and most of the time it's not, is I'm always looking for those things where you remember how they used to say like because like animals can hear like low vibrations and stuff.
Hmm.
They're like when the animals start leaving an area
Right.
and you can't tell why, there's something nasty
There's
going
a
on.
flood or something.
There's a
Yeah,
flood coming.
yeah,
There's an
yeah,
earthquake or
yeah.
whatever. Right? Leave. And so every now and then people will point to something and say like, "Let me show you the stat that's never wrong." It's like, "What's this?" It's like, "All right, so." If you look at like the Wendy's to Taco Bell ratio in any town, right? If you look at the Wendy's to Taco Bell relationship in any town, you're going to see who's going to be a mover and shaker in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, right? And they'll point it out and say, like, this is 100% correct.
They do that in baseball too all the time, man.
They do. They do. And it turns out baseball is less complicated than I thought.
Very much so. Yeah.
I mean, it's more, but it's on the average is less, and it comes down to pitching. It comes specifically down to uh, what's your fastball speed.
Yep, it does. Yep, pretty much. And how long can you maintain that? How many throws do we get out of you?
Yep.
So that's pretty much what it comes down to. So, but like that's not what anybody's going to tell you in the guides, even though it's patently obvious to everybody. So, and I mean the same thing's true. Economists and these geopolitical guys that I don't know. I kind of got enamored with them for a couple of years there. Now I'm like, you were wrong about that. You should apologize. No.
That never happens.
No, I know. You don't even need to apologize. You just say, "Oh, I got it wrong." And no, no, you're going to tell me what you're going to tell me something else that's wrong now,
I
huh?
think what you do, the cool thing to do is you sit down and you have an episode. You say like, all right, so you sit down on MSNBC for a half hour and you call it the postmortem, the postmortem of this, right? You
Right.
say like, all right, so I called this. This is what happened. Okay. What
Yeah.
I want to figure out here is where did the math go wrong? So
Yeah.
sit down with me here a few
Yep.
minutes. I'm going to tell you what I based this on. I'm going to show you what really happened here, and we're going to go ahead and try to figure out where we were off.
When you find guys who do that, it's really refreshing. So they're rare. So, but they are out there. There's like one of the military guys that I watch. He does that. He's like, I got that wrong. So I thought this would happen. The Russians were smarter than I thought they were. So
Well, I don't know who it is. There's this dude who there's this dude in a couple of channels that have basically been predicting doom weekly for Russia.
I've seen a couple. There's a British guy who's insufferable. So I mean, first of all, it's patently clear exactly how much he hates fucking Donald Trump. So, and then the second one is like every single week, Russia is on the brink of like starvation level collapse. And so
Yes.
I subscribed to his channel just because it's almost entertaining now. So, you know,
Well, because there are people that you look at them and you say, look, if you are, here's the thing, if you are basically trolling or basically doing this
mhm.
for an audience, you are a master craftsman,
Oh
right?
yeah, at this point in time, I mean,
Absolutely.
audiences are getting wise to it, man. So
Right. But if you actually believe this shit, you're fucking stupid.
exactly, and this
Right.
guy is definitely a true believer. So he is not a troll. He is drunk all of his own Kool Aid. So
That's the problem.
it is a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen this like there's some economic guys that I know about that. Most of them are pretty hard Marxist type. Guys. It's like, all right, man, you're actually what do they call that? A fellow traveler or whatever.
Oh, right, right, right. No, because here's the you're kind of with me on this here too, right? Where the problem that I always have here is like you can look at the economic indicators right now, and you can look at this and say like, all right, we expected this to happen, or not to say you and I.
Yeah,
I
sure.
remember distinctly what you and I said. We said we don't fucking know.
We don't know. Yeah.
Nobody's tried this in like 100 something
Right.
years,
Yeah.
right? So we don't know,
We don't know.
and we were that like if we were like if you were going into like
Dude, if you went to like fucking what's the Poly Market site
oh yeah
and
yeah
actually punched in like $1 on a U.S. federal budget surplus in June, that would have been a good bet
it's
because
like the fucking
nobody would have taken
yeah
that fucking
it's like
bet.
the fucking Jets winning the fucking like the Stanley Cup, like a different
The World
sports.
Series,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, 100%. We said we didn't know, and the funny thing here is now that the data's coming out, and what I can tell you is right now there are people. This moment, okay.
Mm.
We talked about graph paper. They got the graph paper out. They got fucking all the weird looking things that you draw with. They're doing math with
Contraptions.
they're doing math with the alien runes and all the other symbols. And what they're trying to do is to find something that Jimmy Carter did
Right.
that can take credit for what's going on right
Yeah,
now.
or Barack Obama.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right? Now, who actually does that thing? Who knows? This is
Who knows?
absolutely something where, okay, you typically look at the most recent stuff first, then you walk it back. That's
Yeah.
what, especially you're like,
Yeah.
well, if it was consistent here, then it changed. Is there anything that changed along with it? Right?
Well, and, I mean, so like some of it, and the problem is like he is running against the grain of not just his lefty haters. Okay, who wouldn't approve of anything that he does?
Absolutely.
But like the whole like fucking old school free trade, Milton Friedmanite,
Yes.
fucking yeah, um, William F. Buckley, part of his
Yeah.
party, who was like, well, anything that government does is inherently bad.
Have I told you what the most inefficient
Right, yeah.
institution is
Right.
on the planet?
Yes, it's always government. Yeah, those guys are out in the cold right now, man. I fucking love it.
Look, I would say like on a
It's like yes, you can eat your graph paper now. You know?
I would say this like I think in principle, right? I think that they're generally correct in terms of should it be the last thing that you do to correct a problem is turn to government? Generally speaking, yes. Are there things that you have to turn to government to fix? Yes.
Sometimes it's the right tool for the job, man.
Like
Yeah.
right now, the big I'm sure that you've seen this here, the Visa MasterCard thing with Steam.
No, I don't know anything about that.
All right. So
I was gonna go look into Visa Mastercard. That's interesting.
okay, so I will and again, I'm going to let my biases out when they happen, and you'll know. But so there's a team of screeching hags in Australia. They're called
We call them the wombats or something. You know?
well, they go by a name. Their name is Collective Shout. Okay, and it is I shit you not. This
This is
is
like refugees of the pink hat people.
yes,
Oh, okay. All right.
yes. And what happened is they're a collective, and what they didn't like was they didn't like some of the material that's on Steam. Now, the material that they don't like is
Mhm.
objectionable. Don't get me wrong. Okay.
On Steam? Oh yeah, there's a lot of weird shit on Steam. So yeah.
There were 20,000 things on there that ultimately ended up getting pulled off.
Okay.
Right. Now, ultimately, Steam has had a very neutral approach for a long time. They're like, as long as you don't break this,
Yeah, they
right?
had pretty strict rules on certain things.
Yeah,
Like none of this, none of that. Don't kill the kids. You know, all kinds of
right.
stuff. Yeah.
Right. Aside from that, it's like it's not us to up to us to
Mhm.
dictate the morality of that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
We're basically just a marketplace.
So
Yeah.
instead of getting Steam to pull down this objectionable material, what they did was they went to Visa and Mastercard,
Mm.
and they said they complained to Visa and Mastercard long enough so that Visa and Mastercard said, "Okay, you have to remove this material, or you cannot use us as payment methods."
Okay.
So what Steam did was in like 5 seconds flat,
Hmm.
they updated their site and it
Hmm.
said, we also follow the rules that our payment processor state.
Hmm.
If you have a problem, take it up with them. But they're like, but we're not going to go ahead and cut off the two major sources of where we get all of our money.
Oh Lord, no.
Now,
Yeah.
here's
I was
the
kind of surprised. Visa and Mastercard were basically pretty hands-off businesses when it comes to stuff like that because I mean it's just a scab you don't want to pick off.
okay, here's the thing, for the most part they are. And right, and there are certain
Mhm.
things that when it comes to banking, like the things where there were banks out there that were deplatforming conservatives, like
There
if you
were,
and
yeah.
stuff like this. Mike Lindell, that famous example. Now
I like cocaine.
I get it. All right, again, to me, this is just some of the shit where, all right, once you get to that point and you say like, all right, well, I'll start my own credit card company with hookers and blackjack. All right, got
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Um, Discover doesn't move the market. Amex doesn't move the market. That's not how it
Hmm.
goes. So when it comes down to like,
Amex is the most hated credit card out there.
I
So.
understand why.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. They're dicks. So
yeah.
yeah.
And so the trick on that here is with something like this where you have to intervene and say, okay, we have to enforce neutrality of transactions, right? That is something that is going to have to come from the government,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Um, but yeah, that's the kind of thing that normally you'd say, like, well, why don't we let the market sort this out? It's like actually because the market sorts you out.
Yeah. It will.
You
It
don't.
sorts you.
Yeah, you don't get to. What are you going to do to Visa and Mastercard?
From Australia, probably not very much. So
So for me, just the general like government is the last and wrong answer. Yeah, 95% of the time.
I don't know, man. I'm a little bit more amenable to government action when it's obvious that either it's like so. This is the thing is like people look at like market forces and things like that, and they think that that's actually like in the order of operations that's more important than the actual government, but that's actually backwards. It's the government who allows markets to exist. So by facilitating transactions and backing it up with a legal system that actually works.
Right.
So,
Right.
otherwise it is a bullet and sand-based economy.
Right.
You know?
That's right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, like, I don't know, man. It's just watching some of these guys gyrate right now over like, oh my God. I don't know, man. And I'm still sticking with my guns on that one. I don't know what tariffs are going to do. I don't know how it's going to work out. I think it'll be shockingly funny if the government posts another surplus this month.
You know what? I think they will.
I don't know, man. I don't know how the numbers work. I don't know how they're aggregated or when the bills come due, so to speak. I don't know. So, but
Patrick, I do. I'm gonna love with you. I think from everything that I've seen, right? I think we've been getting ripped off royally for a very long
I think the
time.
rest of the world has actually been taking advantage of us, and we got a guy who's like, no, we're not going to do it that way anymore, and realizes that when everybody's eating at your table, you kind of decide who gets to eat what.
And who gets to eat first?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's the. I mean, that's a component of it. I will say that it's clear to me that there have been people here that have been taking advantage of that system, right, and
Yeah.
have gained personally from it for a very long time,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I wouldn't say that's a new thing. No. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. But it's enough impetus to say, like, well, why would you look at this? That these guys seem to be doing great. This is like, because if you look at this and say, like, well, is the stock market any indication that things were bad? It's like, well, no, it seems to be shooting up, at a regular pace, right?
Yeah,
But
that's just
that's
the
not
rich
really an
people
indicator.
graph.
Yeah,
No, that's just the
exactly.
rich people graph. And then I know like that argument where people like, oh, well, like 95% of the wealth is held by 5% of the people. It's like you're talking about the stock market. That's fucking different. So chill out with that shit. It's the rich people graph. Treat it as such. So
I mean, it is a problem.
what's a problem about
Well,
it?
it's not a question of okay. So this is basically laborless money,
That's fine.
right?
Tax it as such.
There you go.
Yeah, it's capital gains.
Right.
So
There you
yeah,
go. This
yeah.
is just it's a problem.
Well, so the thing is that most rich people are pretty smart to figure out ways to not pay taxes.
Yeah.
The famous one is, well, you like, I mean, Mark Cuban fucking told you this one. It's like, no, 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 man. So you have an asset, and then if you need money, you borrow against that asset.
Right.
Yeah, and then you
Right.
pay that back to loan with the proceeds from whatever your investments are. And then that way you never have any taxable income. And I mean, there's ways to close that. So but I mean, see, like I don't like the wealth disparity thing. The math for it that changed my mind is you can melt every billionaire down in the United States down for parts,
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah.
all the way down to tax them all the way down to fucking the shirt off their back,
Yes.
and you pay for like 2 months of fucking medicine with all that money.
No, it's when I did that when I did the math on this, it turned out to be one time $5,000 check if and only
Yeah,
if you counted all of their net worth as
everything.
dollars.
Yes, if you melted everything down, and there was no like crash suddenly in the yacht market.
As if you could do this, you just
Yeah,
like you can actually just bring up like you could hit like Alt Tab and bring up like that menu like the
yeah.
overlay and go into there and basically say like cash out 1%,
Oh yeah,
right? And it just happens without destroying everything.
yeah.
And again, that presumes that every unit they have equates that dollar
You get
amount.
full market
It
value
was
for
like
yeah.
$5,000.
I know it's ridiculous how little it is. Now, if you have a family of four, that's $20,000. Yay! So,
Right, but I mean,
but come on, man. I mean, to wipe out basically the entire class of investors who. So when you're actually investing in the stock market and stuff like that, that
right,
money just doesn't go into the void. I mean, it actually goes to grease all the wheels of the system.
right.
With people pulling money and taking like my retirement, check, whatever. That all comes from that. And so like, yeah, and I've had this debate a couple times with a couple students. It's like, yeah, no, I mean, it feels unfair, okay, in some respects, because Jeff Bezos can have nine, of like these yachts that, you'll never even see one of.
Sure.
And it
And
does
there's
feel unfair, but it's still at the same point in time. I mean, the guy who lays in one bed at night. He's got one pillow. It's just like I mean, So it's not. I guarantee you, his pants go on one leg at a time as well. So, and then on top of it is like, does he deserve that amount of wealth? And it's like, well, I don't know. How hard did he work? Did he get lucky, or was he smart? Did he screw somebody out of that money? Whatever. Okay. So, but that's not for you to judge. It's only for you to, like, you walk your own path, bro. So,
No, I got you there. I mean,
uh,
and that's the thing is like you can say he deserves it, you can say he doesn't deserve it. I mean, it's like,
but you're not the arbiter of that. That's my point.
well,
So,
you are and you aren't. Everyone is,
yeah.
everyone isn't.
Right.
There's no version of this where it's like, all right, you don't have a certain amount of points that makes you more of an arbiter on this than anyone else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everybody's entitled to their thoughts on this one here because you flip it around and say like, all right, so you say like Jeff Bezos is what? It's
He's not even the richest guy anymore.
well, no,
He's
no,
like
no,
number five or something.
right. But even still, let's take him for example because he's super duper rich, and you say like, all right,
Super duper rich.
what's his net worth? You say, okay, is it 680 times mine? Probably,
Probably. Oh,
probably
his
more.
net worth?
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah.
1,000, possibly.
Possibly.
10,000, possibly.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I would then turn around and say, like, okay, got it. Is there anybody on this planet who I am net worth 10,000 times more than?
Correct. Yes. Many.
Any?
Tons.
Tons.
Lots.
Do I deserve it?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sorry if you're born in the United States, you're already in the top 5%, guys.
So if that poor Vietnamese kid is looking up and say like, why the fuck does he deserve that? Is he wrong? It's like, I don't know.
Right.
I
But
don't know.
this is a snake that eats its own tail,
Of
man.
course.
And yeah, it just doesn't lead to anything good. I mean, envy and jealousy is like they're some of the most unproductive fucking emotions to have. So, because they just always result in some kind of like fucking horseshit. So, in terms of your thinking. So,
Well, so I mean, there's two components of this as far as I've defined this, right? So jealousy is okay in the sense that it can make you want to do things for yourself, right?
sure.
If you see a person has it's like, man, I like that car. I'm going to go ahead and put in some extra overtime to get it. Envy is I don't want him to have that car.
Exactly. Yeah, okay, so I'll back off the jealousy piece. I guess I was meaning the same thing, but more so the latter.
I
So,
mean, they turn into one like so fast, but one into the other is like so
yeah.
fast, but um, and a lot of people conflate the two, right?
Well, I think most of the people who complain about like wealth inequality and particularly like income inequality is one of those things. It's like that's an easier ladder to climb than that wealth one, man. So, you can always go out
Yeah.
and bump up your income somehow. Or reduce your expenses. You can make it. I mean, I've seen so many people who just like dirt fucking poor. 5 years later, it's like, oh, that wasn't that hard, was it? No, it's not really. So, kind of thing. At least you got to a point in time where you've got a future and you're not just looking at the grindstone every single day. Because that's what people actually envy behind that is they take a look at a guy like Jeff Bezos and they say, oh, he's got all this shit. He probably sits on his ass all fucking day. I doubt that's true. So, because most of the time it's not thing envy, it's time envy. So it's like, why do I have to do this bullshit job? Blah blah blah. It's like, well, you don't actually. you know.
I mean, it is a tough thing, and I do understand that there's a certain amount of understanding that I can come to where you look and you're like, uh, you hit 40, you hit 50, and you do hit that point where it's like, fuck. It's like I made a whole bunch of bad decisions,
Hmm.
or things didn't go the way that I wanted to, or sometimes you just had some rotten luck, man. That does happen, right?
Tom Brady's like 4 months older than I am. He's always been. And you know what? It's like, nah, I'm good.
Fucking
I can't compare myself to him, man.
let me. So this is someone that's younger than me, and I'm gonna I will quote this. Okay. Um, Give me just a moment. So I was waiting on some information back on a client here, and my boss here, she asked me, she said, "Hey, Jeffrey, how was the weekend?" Right? Now, I said, because I was honest, I said I was busy, but good. I asked how she was doing, tell him to take his time. I'll look this over for you as soon as he gets a chance. She then said, I went to try wake surfing. Fun, but it cost me 4 hours on my motorcycle. So the next day I spent at home barely moving. Saturday was too much. I said the truest thing I could. We live very different lives. So, so
I mean, could you do like a tooth? Good for you.
like I cannot even tell you how many times like I've submitted something and it is I will look at this as soon as I get off the plane. I will look at this as soon as I get to Europe. I will look at this
Yeah.
as soon like and I get it. And there's a version of this where I think there are people who look at certain things and say like that was supposed to be my life. That's what that's what my mother told me my life was supposed to be. And I'm not blaming your mother. I'm not blaming
No.
anybody's mother. I'm
Yeah.
not blaming, I mean, I blame Katy Perry a little bit because of her stupid songs and being like, no, like fat is beautiful. It's like, fuck you. There's so like, there's a component of that. But like, yeah, I think a lot of people hit that and say, like, I didn't think it would turn out this way. Right. And you're right. You're right. But I mean, that's the thing is like, okay, so now that you're at 45, you still have a shit ton of life left, right?
Yeah, go do something
You're
with
like,
it, man. Yeah.
are you cool with how things are going? Or are you going to sit there and say, like, well, fuck it. That dude has more than I do. I'll never get to that point. It's his fault.
Right.
I wish he didn't have
I'm
that
gonna go
car.
shoot a CEO now.
I'm going to, Jesus. I mean, you see where I'm going with this. It's like,
Yeah, I do.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You know, he made all this money, but his dad owned an emerald mine. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh
It's
my
like,
God. Yeah. So sins of the father, eh?
what
So.
the fuck does that have to do with it? It's like it's the same. Like the thing that I caught some flack for the other day was a fucking post where you know who Gabe Newell is. We were talking about Steam
Mhm.
before, right? So this dude went out there and he said he very famously humble. I don't know how much of this he believes, but he said, um, "Hey, you know when it came down to it, I was a guy that was um, I I knew the right people and I had a lot of luck."
Yeah.
Right? Now, the thing was, I was like, man, I hate it when people can't actually take credit for what they do. Because if I knew those same people and I had that same luck, we'd be writing about a new form of bankruptcy um,
Yeah.
previously unknown to man. Because there's a part of it where, like, the reason that that worked with those things and those conditions is because you are you
Yeah, because you were
with those
there.
things,
Yeah.
right? Not me,
No.
because I don't know shit about what you do.
No, I don't like it when people like. So the luck thing kind of pisses me off a little bit, just because everybody looks at somebody else and they try and gauge like how lucky they are. So like
Yeah,
that guy's just way lucky, blah blah blah. Or oh my god, that guy can't catch a break, kind of thing. But like the thing about luck is that it's a completely made up thing.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's not like
We
some
try to put a face on it, but you can't.
well, you're trying to, but what you're also trying to do is you're also trying to like justify, you know, like because you see a guy who's lucky in something or another, and you're like,
This stinks of predestination, Patrick.
I know it stinks of predestination, but it's not. Yeah,
Uh,
but no, no, yes, exactly. We don't talk about Calvinism. I thought we made that clear the other day.
I like seeing you put like moving the thing. It's like he's about to flip this table.
So, but it's also one of those things where it's just like, no, luck doesn't have anything to do with that. He saw an opportunity, said yes to it. You did not. Okay, that doesn't mean you didn't get opportunities. It means that you didn't recognize them at the time, and that's something you can work on. So that's different than being lucky, and things like that. And so I don't know. Because I always have students who are like, "Oh, my luck is so terrible. I'll never get blah blah blah." It was like, yeah, with that attitude, you sure as fuck won't. So because there's going to be one that's going to walk right by you, and you're not going to see it because you're too busy moping around looking at your feet. So
well, again, it's the thing where guys were. I had this discussion with someone else here not too long ago about basically submitting resumes and stuff, and
Mhm.
people like getting discouraged. They're like, um, "Hey, I don't get replies on this or whatever." It's like, okay,
Yeah.
listen, it's like back in the day, like when you went to Wendy's. I'm sorry, I keep bringing Wendy's into it, but I mean, they have applications. You fill out an
Form
application,
applications. Yeah.
and they're going to look at like the 10 they have, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to have a face that goes with it, right? It was like, did you meet anybody when you submitted that application? It's like, no.
No.
It's like, did you just click a button? It's like,
Yes.
so if you could click a button, do you think that your neighbor could click a button? Is he smarter than you?
Yeah.
Right? So if they have 1,400 applicants,
Hmm.
and that's a conservative
Hmm.
number, right? do you think that you're going to get called out of all of them? Do you think that you're so much better skilled? It's like, I don't know. It's like, well, you might be,
You might be.
but you might not be. So that's the thing is like, all right, so if they're getting that many more applicants,
Mhm.
you have to put up that many more applications.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing that got me kind of like over once I actually did a lot of hiring, it was like once you understand that, and I tell my folks this all the time. It's like, no, you don't understand. You're gonna take it personally when you don't hear something back. All right, you got to get over that real fast, okay?
Yeah.
Because and let me walk you through how this works. So we got an online posting. Have you guys heard of like these bots that go out there and just auto apply? You can actually hire one to do this for you,
Yes.
if you want to do it. And so multiply that by about 1 million people, okay, all of whom are just playing the spread on something like this. Now think about what that looks like on the back end. Well, there's no way that I can go through 10,000 applications in the
Right.
2.5 hours that I have scheduled to actually do this as a manager. So I'm going to use some kind of screening service. Okay. And, like, okay, so if you don't meet the qualifications, don't apply for the job because you're not going to get it. Okay. Especially if it's a high demand kind of thing or if it's a competitive thing. Now, if you're in a market where, you see that job and then you see a couple others that are just like it, then yeah, if you are underqualified for that job, punch in for it. You might find somebody who's willing to give you a hand up because it's hard to find somebody who's willing to do this job at this point in time. But again, that's that opportunity thing. If you don't recognize it because you're too busy, oh, they didn't hear back, feeling bad for yourself, then you missed that one, kid. Sorry, and your neighbor did get it. Even though he was underqualified for the job, and you may have been a better fit for it. You just have to think about it that way. It's nothing personal, man. It's just think of it like a job. All right, so because that's what it is for somebody out there who's doing that hiring. It's a job. So
Well, and that's the tough thing is with something like that, it's actually not personal. It used to be. You could be personal
it
back in
used
the
to be
day.
personal, but it's
Yeah.
not
But
anymore.
with stuff like this, yeah, yeah.
I mean, unless you have like an inside hookup or something like that, which is still
Different story.
hands down the
Yeah.
best fucking way to get a
Well, I mean,
job.
that's a different story. It was
Yeah.
like, um, there, and again, that's the tough thing. I mean, that same thing where, all right, man, no, I got you, and the same people where it's like, look, are you looking for a straight up like really limited supply kind of job?
Oh, you're good luck, man.
I'm like, I got it. And if you do, then that's totally okay. But I'm going to tell you, like, applying over and over probably isn't your best thing. You want to go out there and meet people who are in this industry
Yes, you need to go find somebody who's done that and ask them for advice.
and
So
hang out with these people and go introduce them people because eventually they're going to say, like, does anybody know somebody that's not a fucking asshole?
exactly,
It's
yeah,
like, well, I got a friend who's
it's not
like,
an
he's like a
asshole.
quarter asshole.
He's a little asshole on weekends though.
It's like, oh, that's fine. Okay, we can, like,
We
one
can work
quarter
with
we
it.
can
Yeah,
do.
yeah, right.
Like, does he have a master's? It's like, hey, he's
He's
a
working on
couple
it. Yeah, he's
classes.
working
It's
on it.
like that plus quarter asshole. It's like we'll take him, but I mean we're gonna pay him like
Well, yeah, I was like, well, bring him in. We'll talk to him
yeah,
first. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean that happens all. I mean the job market's not really a problem right now. I mean, like when I watch my guys go out after graduation and stuff like that, most of them get employed pretty quickly. The question is like, all right, so are you happy in that employment? And then I tell them all in the beginning, I'm like, you're never going to be happy with your first job. Don't try. Okay, so I mean,
Actually, no. A lot of times you're gonna be way happy with your first job and not know how shitty it is.
yeah, okay, yeah, that's kind of true too. But the other thing is like you never very rarely. I mean, you do find people who do this where they find that job right out of the bat, like they become a history teacher or whatever, and that's what they're going to do forever. They become a firefighter, whatever. Okay,
Right.
start laying tile, whatever. You can find like here and there, but like in the corporate world, it's like no, man. You don't know what you don't know until you go out there and start working a little bit. And so don't try and make that first job into your perfect, like, and don't get too hung up if you're unhappy at that job too, because it ain't gonna be forever, kid. So, you know, just do enough
Again,
where you
man,
don't
this is not.
sabotage your own fucking resume.
I'm sorry, dude. This is just not how this is taught. This is not.
It's not how it's
This
done.
is not the society we're about to believe in right now. Granted, every now and then somebody tries to be cool about it and say like, "You'll teach time, boy, time, teach you." There's there is a component of that you kind of eventually cross, but there is this because if you think about the backwards way of this is we start prodding kids around like 12, 13 years old and saying like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? What do you want to do until you turn 70? think cars, like, because in a couple of years you're going to make this decision, and people will judge you
Dude,
if you change your
I'm
mind.
telling you, that's not a society thing. That's a parent thing.
Fuck, but
That's totally a fucking parent
it
thing.
is a parent
Yeah.
thing, but I mean, it's not. It's okay. It's a parent thing. It's a school counselor thing. It's a like. I mean, there's a
They don't really do that much of that kind of counseling anymore.
no. Counseling is more kind of like, is that a black eye or is that makeup?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Counseling's is like, are you eating enough?
Yeah. It's like I noticed.
So,
You know, I like you as a person. I just need you to know that it's not normal for a 16-year-old's hair to just like come out in clumps.
right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that, yeah,
We need
counseling
to
is a
talk
little
about
bit different.
magnesium. Right. Yeah. It's so,
Yeah. Talk about
but but yeah, that's sort of thing. There has been a lot of push of like make your career decisions, and the people, it's like, oh, look at this loser. He changed his major twice. You know, stuff like this. Where again, like you said, the first job you may hate it, or you know,
yeah.
the other perspective is like you may love it because you don't know. You don't your first relationship in the same way, and a
Mhm.
lot of times is like you don't really know what abusive is, or you don't know how
Mhm.
good things are. It's like you have
No.
zero perspective on this,
Right.
right? Um, and there's something to that, though. I think that we should actually sort of that should be the new messaging. Is like there is like that's one of those things that causes that anxiety, that causes that sense of failure. That like I felt it was like, well, I got to
Sure.
where I want
Yeah.
to be,
Yeah.
but it's not everything I want it to be. What's wrong with me?
Oh man, I mean, I remember those couple of years, especially when I was trying to stitch together, and I was teaching over at Saban there for a bit.
Yeah,
Every day I'd go home, I'd like, fuck this place, and then by 8 o'clock, and after like a couple of shots of bourbon, you
what I'm
know,
talking
I
about.
was like,
Yeah,
all right, I'm going to try it again tomorrow, and then it would go
right.
just as bad. And eventually, I just figured out it was like I thought this would be the coolest fucking job in the world. It is not, and so I need to get out of here. And then I did find a really cool job, so it works out.
Absolutely.
But the other thing is, and I mean, I try and there's a lot of anxiety that it's unnecessary anxiety. It is, and that is something that's institutionalized. I've seen it in my daughter with the testing regime and stuff like that.
Yes.
So test weeks suck, and like everybody knows that they're going to suck. It's like reverse spring break.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they don't
Yep.
count for anything.
Nope.
They all know that. And it just seems like busy work for the sake of busy work. And the teachers, nowadays, like, so she's had a couple cool teachers who are kind of like, hey, just try. But others are like, you really got to pull for the school, blah 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 blah, and they're all wise to it. And so, and that's just it's traumatizing, for no apparent reason. And then, there's a lot of people who are teachers who should not be fucking teachers. Okay. So, because they never had a real job. Okay. Or, they're like sometimes the exact wrong people, because if you're going to be a teacher, it's usually because you're pretty fucking good at school. And so you like school. And you got to realize that about 80% of your kids do not feel that way. Now, if you recognize that, great, okay, because then you either have to decide, hey, I'm going to go do GT stuff, or I'm going to be that Robin Williams guy or whatever, But I know. Okay, cool, but like some people just never realize that those are your kind of two options. There is like you're dealing with people who are here not of their own free will.
No.
So yeah,
Well, no, they're not of their own free will, and they're not getting a check out of it. So I mean, it's
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and I mean, like, I don't know if it's getting better or worse. In the last couple of years, I've noticed it. Because it's just nowadays, most of them are just like inured to it. They're all tuned out about it. It's like, okay, fine. It's like that first fucking job where it's like, it's not going to last forever. I just got to get through it. You know?
But this is the thing: is I think it's always sort of been like that. I think there's
I
a
think you're right.
component of
Yeah.
this where, again, it's always been. You can argue the percentages. Maybe there were some great fucking years
Maybe.
in like 1961, where it was like, okay, instead of 10-80-10, where 80% are like, well, I got to be here. I'm going to find something about this that I like.
Sure.
Not necessarily, lit class or
Yeah.
art. I'm going to find something I do like, even if it's just staring at girls or whatever. There's something that
You
makes
can
me
find
want to be.
something there that you like. You play
Right.
football, whatever.
Right. 10% of people at the top are like, academics matters because my parents say it matters.
They won't feed me.
That's correct.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Yeah,
correct.
yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Sorry.
Like these are the same people who's like, well, I can't go there. It's like, why? Because the traffic guard said I couldn't. Like, did you tell the traffic guard to fuck off? They
Why?
don't, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
show me your badge,
Show me your
right?
badge.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of people. There's that 10%, and then you have always had that 10% that is like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah,
I really don't want
I
to be
really
here,
don't want to be
and
here. I'm
because I
gonna
don't want to
escape
be
if I
here,
can. Yeah.
everyone's going to pay.
Everybody's going to suffer because of
Right.
my unhappiness.
Now,
Yeah.
like I said, there may have been some golden times in like 1961 where it was 11, 81, 8,
Maybe.
and then
It's
there
not
were
that far off,
no,
though.
and there may have been. I think there's quite a few of lead paint years where it was 9, 73,
Well,
14. So I
so
don't
like
know.
I think you're right. The student body probably hasn't changed much, but the way that we approach them as educators has absolutely fucking
Oh,
changed.
absolutely. Yes.
So,
Yes.
and the biggest problem, it's like educators are like the bad version of like reporters, because
Wow.
reporters went like, it was like, okay, I grew up, wanting to be a fucking, hero,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. And,
Right.
so I go to a rich liberal college and I learn how to teach people English or math, whatever. And then now I'm going to go be a hero out there. When back in the day, man, you knew that like most of your teachers were, I mean, it was a job, and for a lot of them it was a passion, but you knew like people who were married, they were both teachers and they could still afford a decent, like they could afford to live in the neighborhood they taught in, typically.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And nowadays, just because the whole thing's been fucking swamped with these people who've never worked a goddamn day in their life,
And layers of metrics, people.
and
Yes.
layers of metrics people who, it's okay. The kids aren't stupid. All right. They're not eating paint chips. So, we don't,
No,
yeah, I
not
know.
anymore.
No, I got a good buddy he does a lot of that assessment stuff, and he keeps trying to tell me cases for why the numbers really matter and stuff like that. I'm like, well, they do if it's your job, and
Exactly. Yes.
and they do, and maybe in a situation like here where you have multiple school districts and you're going to compete a little bit. But in the broad sense, 90% of your people aren't trying to choice out of your fucking district. Okay. And so the quality of the education is going to reflect the quality of the instruction that they get, more so than anything else. You don't need to take tests year after year after year to know that, you know? So, and, and that's the thing. And so I get students now, they're absolutely test traumatized. I mean, the test anxiety is horrifyingly stupid. It's like it's a test. It's not going to bite you.
Well, that's the same.
But
Fucking again, that's the
it's
same
not
exact.
venomous.
That is the exact same problem that I've been running into for a long time. Is when it comes down to it, right? Grades and tests, right?
Yeah.
These were supposed to be things. Again, this depends on how your parents raise you on this and what
Right.
society thinks. They are supposed to be an evaluation of where you are right now with that subject.
Yes.
So that's something where you say, okay, well, if you have a B, you're pretty good about understanding what you have.
Yep.
If you want to do a little bit better, do this a little bit more. If you
Mhm.
have a D, you do not understand what is going on here, and we should probably intervene.
Yeah, we need to talk to you.
It is not where it's like, if you have a D, right? I need you to understand that we have expectations as us.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if a D comes through my door,
Yeah, you're one step away from the wood chipper, kid.
it's kind of like, it's like, okay, so I want you to understand that B's and C's get the left, D's and below get my ring hand,
Right, yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And this
And
is
I'm going to use tools on you. Yeah.
and this is you say that it's like no, that's why pencils have erasers. Everybody make mistakes, learn from it, and then
Yeah.
people make mistakes, try to learn from it, and it's like you're grounded all summer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, the parents are like sometimes your worst enemies in those situations. I'm so happy that I don't have to deal with them much, but I get the after effects where the kids are on their own.
Right.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
kind of like, wow, you do not know how to operate within your own mind space, bro.
But
So,
yeah, it's like actually you need to take less classes and go to more therapy, and you need to go to
you need to you need to go out and like ask a couple girls out or something.
there's that too, man.
So,
I mean, look, and that's a problem
go to a
too.
football
Yeah.
game. I
Yeah.
don't play football. That's not the point.
It's like, well, that's it's like when's the last time you had fun?
Right,
I
yeah.
mean, not Not somebody told you what fun is, but
Right.
you actually had
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. What do
Right.
you do for fun? It's like, oh, that's not a good answer. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's either you don't
Right.
or you're embarrassed of it.
You're
And you should
embarrassed of
never
it.
be
Yeah,
embarrassed of
yeah.
it.
I watch a lot of porn.
Fine. That's totally okay. If that's what you're into, I'm like, I can tell you why this is a problem.
This
I
is
can
a
say, oh,
problem,
like,
kid.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, I can tell you where this leads. But that's the trick here is like, all right. But yeah, there's a complication with it, and that's another societal thing. Look, that is legitimately a thing that we're starting to get female backlash about. Like, why do guys not approach? I'm like, well, because you spent 25 years telling them not to,
Yeah, exactly.
right? So,
Well, and to be fair, I don't think that was them. That was us that was telling them that. You
well,
know.
no, it's here's the thing: is it was the problem with this is the same problem that we have with a lot of things. Is you're like, you never actually target the demographic that's doing the fucking problem,
No,
right?
they don't. Yeah.
You went out there and said like, okay, we have to teach all men to change their behaviors. Like, were we misbehaving? It's like, no, actually, a very small percentage of you were actually doing this, but we can't name who they are.
Yeah, we should go castrate those people.
Right. So we
Yeah.
have to lecture
Yeah.
all of
All
you
of you.
into terror.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, so every 6 months, remember, you're going to have this course and you got to get 100% on it if you want to keep your job, right? All this stuff where it's like, okay, you've been blaming the entire group for this, and now you're sitting there saying, like, well, guys don't want to talk to women. No fucking
No
shit.
fucking shit.
You told them not to,
Yeah.
right? And that's
Well,
the
especially in the workplace.
Jesus
Especially in the fucking
Christ. I
workplace.
know, I know. And that's the thing is, there are still some dudes that do. They were going to do it before.
They were going to do it
They're going to
anyway.
do it
They're going to do
afterwards.
it anyway.
They were the dudes that you needed to talk
Yeah,
to.
exactly. They're the ones that you need to like. No, you can't actually follow her all the way home.
It's like, actually, sir, you shouldn't be following her anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's,
Not to the door, not to the parking lot, man.
Please take your hands out of your pockets, dude. What are you doing right now?
you know the dudes that straight up like there are guys that in this day and age will catcall in an office.
I haven't seen that in a while. To be
Here's the
fair,
thing:
I've been
is
working in a university setting for a while, so that would be the last place you would see that.
with I'm telling because there are people about it who are so they if you're attractive or it's endearing,
Mm.
you don't get busted for it, right?
No,
Because it's
uh-uh.
you'll see dudes like again.
Or if it's reciprocated, you don't get busted for that
Well,
either.
yeah, because like you'll see guys and never get in trouble for it. Love when you come in here with them heels, right?
Mhm.
Right?
Be careful with that. Yeah,
Would I say it a
yeah,
100 times out of 100 times? No.
no,
But there are a lot of dudes where it's like, oh, well, this guy's always smiling, right?
yeah,
He's kind of like fatherly, or it's like, or he's attractive, ergo this is fine, right?
yeah.
That's the seen it happen a million times,
Tons
man.
of times, man.
Yeah.
Tons of times.
So yeah, there's this thing where it's like, well, this is what you get when you blame fucking everyone. Those guys are still going to do it. They know what the rules are. Like they watch the same 2 videos every year and said like, no, you
No,
can't compliment a
yeah.
person on this. It's you cannot do this. You signed on this that said that you want, but you're doing it anyway. Which means you were the problem.
Well, and the problem is that guy's usually the boss. So
Uh,
most of the ones that I've seen, it was the boss man.
sometimes no. I mean,
It was whoever had kind of control over certain things, like schedule or
a lot of times they
who
were
was in charge of
bros.
what. I'm going to be
That
blunt with you,
happened
man.
too, man.
It did, but like I worked in a lot of blue collar environments, man.
Yeah.
A lot. Not
Well,
as bad as the rig,
well, a lot of blue collar guys were the ones who were the first to pick up on it. To say like, oh shit, we can't do that. We get fired.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the blue collar guys, in particular, I mean, they were a little bit dirtier in some respects, about certain things, but, they were also the ones where, it was like, oh shit, you can't do that, man. You don't get, yeah, you're gonna get busted. You're gonna get us in trouble. Yada yada yada.
Yeah, you don't get to talk to from your boss. You get to talk to from a coworker.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's why unions suck. So it's because they
Yeah.
don't police themselves. But anyway, that's a different discussion. But then like later on, it was always like there's usually some kind of power dynamic there that I've noticed. The most egregious offenders that I've worked with were guys who were, they were kind of bulletproof, or if you did speak up, you were going to pay in one way or another.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, they were the ones who'd get away with some of that shit. And I mean, oftentimes it's reciprocated. It's like, oh, well, he's the boss. He makes money. So,
Well, again, that sort of goes into my sort of like the Weinstein thing. It's like, well, I don't appreciate what he was doing,
dude, that guy was gross, man.
which he's
That
disgusting.
guy was gross.
But there's also a component of you accepted
Yeah. I mean,
and you reap the benefits of it.
right. I mean, but like, I don't know, man. And I mean, well, so like his thing, you can't do that long enough in an industry like that's small, where eventually someone like Brad Pitt's going to call you fucking out.
He got away with it for 30 something
I
years.
get that, man, but eventually you're going to get your ticket punched if you're that kind of greaseball, and regardless of whether or not HR has a talking with you or not, you're going to get your ticket punched somehow. And so,
Oh, no doubt. This is not me saying that I approve of the behavior.
I'm not accusing you
No,
of that.
absolutely
Yeah,
not. What I'm saying here is if you take advantage of the system here,
Mhm.
he's still guilty. You're a little bit guilty too.
I think he would be a little bit more guilty in a situation like that.
If you want to say 51-49,
I'd say
that's
more like
fine.
90-10.
No way.
I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue with it.
Okay, let me put it to you. Okay, let me just reframe this here. All right. When it comes to bribery,
Mhm.
is it equal giver and receiver of the bribe 50-50?
No.
What do you put it at?
Well, it depends on the situation. I mean, if I'm trying to get you to do something that you're reluctant to do anyway, then yeah, it's on me because I'm putting the pressure on you. That situation. If this is like one of them cultural things where it's like, this is how you do business around here,
Yeah.
then it's on them.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Then you don't want to do business around here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of companies don't give a fuck. So,
But that's what I'm saying. Like if they say it's like, hey, look, I don't want to bust your balls on this, but I'm just telling you, like, if you want this permit, you got to grease his palm. Do you want the permit?
it's on you, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like you always have the option. I guess I don't want the permit. But that being said, it's the same thing. It's like, well, okay, then I don't want to be in this, or I can say no, or I can try going about this a different way. I am not saying that again. It's the same. I wouldn't do that, right?
Well,
I
he
don't know.
definitely had a bunch of people who did stand up to him. So, refused to work with him, blah, blah, blah. All
Totally
kinds of
good,
stuff. Yeah.
good.
I mean, that was that open secret because what was it? It wasn't. It might have been Family Guy that talked about that. Before
People have said shit about that for years.
Yeah. But actually did like a bit on like TV. So
I don't remember.
I think it was Family Guy.
It could have been, but yeah, that was. I had heard about that shit before it even like came up because I remember that there were people like in certain circles that they would talk about. They would say by name.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, well, it is what it is, right? Again, I'm not saying it's 50-50, right? I can't do that. That's not right.
Right.
Okay. But yeah, there is a part of it where if you agree to it, what do you want?
Well, if you get what you want out of it, then okay.
Exactly.
But that doesn't excuse behavior. So,
No. That's the thing. I'm not.
I get you.
There's no version of this where I'm saying excusing.
Right.
But multiple people can be wrong.
Yes.
At the same time, without people being right.
Speaking of multiple people being wrong, I've been following Epstein shit lately.
Oh, so now you care about this shit?
I'm telling you, man.
Oh.
I saw the video and I was like, you can't see them fucking stairs from that. I had never seen the video before.
Wait, which thing are you talking about?
So they
the death video.
Right. The 11 hours of tape. I'm not. The 1 minute doesn't fucking matter. You can't see the fucking stairs going to his place from that video. So there's multiple entrances into that joint.
That is correct.
I didn't know that before.
Yes.
So, yeah. So this thing, I think it was actually on CBS where they actually did the map of like, this is what it looks like and this is where this camera is. And I was like, I had somebody do that like a couple of years ago. Thank you.
It's an interesting question.
It is an interesting question.
It is an interesting question.
So, Donald Trump is not. I'm a little afraid for him on this one, man. He will not. I mean, he answers every question. So
in the worst possible way,
in the stupidest way. It's just like, is there anything more? No. And then the next day he's like, well, yeah. The next day. So what about this? Oh yeah, I think she did work for me. I think. I don't know. I'll have to check. Yeah, she did. So, You know, so I have no idea where it's going to end up.
Well, and that's again, this is the bottom line of this. Still, the part of this that still rings true to me was true then, is true now, where it was like, if you were on this and it was known, this would have been used against you, right?
Possibly, possibly.
I feel like that would have been the first thing they threw at you in terms of like, let's disqualify this guy, and also this at the same time, let's also here's the
So I've seen a couple of people put a couple holes in that argument. So let me run a couple of them by you. One of them, and this one I just heard the last couple of days, you know, is that Merrick Garland
yes,
was such a fucking stickler for rules that he would not have told anybody about that. So, and I had never heard that take before. So, but then there's a couple other instances where he's like, no, he refused to talk to Joe Biden about this, this, and this because of this, 2 degrees of separation between blah, blah, blah. And I had never heard that one before. I was like, well, fuck, okay, that's interesting. So the other reason
okay,
would be that there's actually like Clintonian stuff on the list.
all
And
right.
so X doesn't come out, and if Y doesn't come out, if Y comes out, X comes out. And so,
So yes, if I'm to actually put a theory on this, right,
mhm,
is I think it's a little bit more toward that. Is I believe that as of right now,
mhm,
if you looked at let me just say it this way: the number of delays that have happened, the number of times that votes have been shot down, the number of
mhm.
times that they were saying like, we're actually just going to shut down early. We're not. Oh, forget about this vote, right? Um, and
Oh,
it's
with the yeah, but
yeah.
that's all the house. So
Here's the thing:
it's
is
like John Mikeson.
right. That dude should be a number one. Like, well, it seems like a matter of public record to actually want to. The law
I
says
don't
we
know,
should go
man. I
this way.
can't ever
Now,
figure him out.
my
So
problem here is, I think that there is a shit ton of dirty people on both sides, and I think there's a bunch of people that are saying like, hey, if you release this, can you protect me? Because I'm a buddy. I'm a bro. You need me in
yeah,
this place, right? Because I do think at all right. So again, like all gunslinger quarterbacks that throw a whole shit ton of interceptions, they go out there and they say like, "So what's the plan today, Bet Favre?" It's like, "Well, I'm just going to try to find the open man. I'm going to throw it down the field as
mhm,
far as I can."
yeah,
So when that moron got into the office, he says kind of like, "Well, I'll release these files. I don't give a fuck. I'm Donald Trump,
yeah,
right?" And
yeah. I don't think he's that kind of guy.
here's the thing: is right now, I do believe they are in the process of trying to come up with some kind of bullshit, redacted ass, cut up, garbage version of things to actually release so that in a couple of weeks, they're going to throw some stuff out there and say, like, oh, look who's on here. And look who's not.
Yeah, he's sprayed an ink cloud in our face a couple times. So I
Yeah.
don't. Well, I don't. So all right, I have a third theory that's different than yours. So I don't think there's that many people on the list. I think that the people that are on the list are probably mostly dead or so irrelevant now because he hasn't been doing this shit since 2010. So you're talking about 15 years ago.
Yes.
I don't think you're going to find like Nancy Pelosi on that list and stuff like that.
Probably not.
No, no. You're going to find if there is a list, and I'm not convinced that there is actually a list. I don't think he wrote that. I don't think he wrote the shit down. So to be blunt with you.
It makes more sense not to write it down.
Exactly. I don't think he was completely retarded. So he might have been.
No,
But he did make a lot of money. So I have no idea.
and he was a businessman. And there's a version of
Yeah.
this where, yes, you do sort of like, you write some things down, like, for example, a flight log.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. So you got to know
You
who's on the
have to.
plane. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, especially if you own the plane.
Yes.
So fine. Okay. So, but like, here's my gut feel on this one, and I hope I'm wrong on this one. But my guess is that okay. So the videotaping thing was a thing. 90% of that is Jeffrey Epstein doing Jeffrey Epstein things. Okay, but there's a few, all right, possibly a former president, possibly a current president, who were actually engaged in non illegal activities. So they weren't there for the 16-year-old kid, they were there for the 25-year-old cocktail waitress. And he obliged, and they don't, it has nothing to do with the underage shit because there just weren't that many of them that were actually underage. That was kind of his thing, you know? And so I bet you And Donald Trump does not want to go through a fucking divorce in his second term of his presidency. so,
Agreed. Again,
so that's I would put about a 30% chance on that actually being the case. So we'll have to see.
but therein lies the problem, is because like if that were the case,
Yeah.
then there shouldn't be people in Congress saying like, actually, let's not vote on this. Let's actually vote this
I think
down.
that's because Donald Trump's telling them fucking don't do that. So I mean, dude, that dude fucking controls Congress right now. So he doesn't use intermediaries to actually talk to people in Congress. He fucking calls them. That is very different than the last like 6 presidents we've had.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I got you right there. But I
So
mean, if you're that's to tie it all to one particular person here. And again, that was like if that information was there, it was there.
yeah,
It would have already been used. Again, I understand what you're saying as far as the unlikelihood, but
I don't know.
I'm telling you, they threw the fucking kitchen sink at the guy, right? They threw weak shit at the guy. They shopped it in places
At
where
who?
they get
Epstein?
no at Trump,
Oh yeah, no, I
and
got you.
shopped
Sorry.
it in weak ass places where they knew they could get favorable
Totally.
judges. Okay, so to basically sit there and say like, you know what? Okay, we have a straight up fucking dunk from the free throw line,
Yeah.
right? But we're not going to use it. We're going to hit them with ticky tack shit like this, and we're going to shop it like this, and we're going to collaborate with these people over here so we can get them on this here. There ain't no
Well,
way
see, the thing
that
is,
you don't that you will leave that on the table.
well, I understand that if it's like that level of that kind of thing. My guess is on that one in particular, when you're talking about ticky tack bullshit on this one, we're not talking about an entire party that was actually conspiring. You're talking about like 4 fucking guys. Okay, we know exactly who 2 of them are now, who are actually involved in all that shit, and that was Clapper and fucking Brennan. So who were basically Clintonian plants. So and had been for almost a decade. So at that, I mean, they were there during the Bush administration, and then turn around, they got elevated a whole bunch of guys by fucking Barack Obama to buy off Hillary Clinton. So when she didn't get the presidency, they wanted to fucking cap him. So just kneecap him because that's about all they could do at that point. You're not talking about like fucking the 125 some odd members of Democrats in the House that knew about that. So I mean, they're just doing they're reading what they see in the Times, bro.
No, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
and so in order for it to be like one of these things where it's like, okay, so we have this gold star way to slam dunk on him, but in the process, it's going to come out that Bill Clinton was there. I don't know if you pull that trigger. So if you have this other ticky tack bullshit, well, maybe that'll work, kind of thing. And so you might keep a lid on it,
Yeah, but that's the thing. When it didn't work, that would have been like there's no version of this where you don't throw that Hail Mary during the campaign process.
Well,
you just don't.
you would have to do that during last year's campaign process because remember they did beat him in 2020.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So it was like, all right, so this isn't a thing. We're not going to have to pull the trigger on this. But during the summer, and that's of course assuming that Harris knew about it, which I'm not so sure about that. So, I mean, she seems fairly oblivious to just about everything going on.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I got you that. Okay, I got you that.
And she did not have no fucking Rahm Emanuel type campaign manager either.
No, but what I can tell you here is if there was a version of this where Joe Biden, who it seems like was running a lot of the shots, if she knew, I guarantee you she would have said, do it. Her?
Yeah.
I promise you.
Well, and that means that can lead you to one of two conclusions. Either Joe didn't know about it, or, he didn't share it with her.
Well, no, I mean, it's
because there wasn't exactly a lot of love lost between those two.
No, not at all. But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of indications that she was pulling a lot of the strings at that time. That's who a lot of people were reporting to. She was in all the meetings that.
But again, it's a very small group of people. So she had cut most of Joe's people out. So as soon as he was getting close, so he replaced a bunch of his guys on the campaign and stuff like that. So I don't think there was actually a reason for Joe to help her. So,
well, it's not about him helping her. It's just that if she knew, she would have made something happen.
Probably
because that's her personality. Right? There's no two ways around. She fucking hates Donald Trump.
Bro, I'm going to be blunt with you. I don't know that much about her fucking personality.
Okay,
That is not an open book.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm just so I do not get the sense that look. There's you remember that clip at Carter's funeral, right? Where
At who?
at Carter's funeral,
Oh, Jimmy Carter?
yeah, where
Obama and
and
Trump are.
Trump were just busting jokes.
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay,
Kamala Harris looks pissed because she's sitting next to, what was it? What's her husband? Doug something?
yeah,
Yeah, you know.
and they're just sitting there yucking it up,
Yeah.
right? And that's the thing is, I think there's an extent to which certain guys like I think Obama, I think that Trump, I think there's a lot of guys that say like, we all say a lot of shit. I don't think we mean 90% of it,
It's a pretty small crowd,
right?
like, and there is a little bit of camaraderie,
Absolutely,
amongst there.
right?
Because like, don't forget, before 2012, like, Donald Trump went to, like, all kinds of fucking Clintonian
Every
things.
Democrat thing
Yeah,
that it's New
so,
York for crying out loud,
right.
right? So yeah, I mean, so
I mean, he was at Chelsea's wedding, you
right, right, and this is the kind of stuff where like yeah, you look at this, you turn around and say like, okay, I know this is political theater.
know.
That shit hurt, man. I don't think there's a version of this where he goes like, man, that person called me a pedophile. You know what? Because I'd call him one,
Yeah.
right? So that's like those two when they were joking about it. I think that's the case. I do not think Joe Biden is like, oh, I'm just in this for the game. I think she's like, I fucking hate that man.
Joe Biden?
I think she hates Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. Well, and apparently Michelle Obama is not a fan either.
Probably
So,
not.
yeah. So,
Probably not. I believe
no,
it.
that's because Donald Trump did say some very mean things about him. It turns out to be completely false. He was like, "Huh? You mean this person?" Yeah. So, but I just don't. I don't really know, man. It's interesting, but it's also like I I don't know, man. I think my gut tells me that it's going to die on the vine. Until later on, if something else comes out, things like that. So if, like, John Mikeson does actually, because they're already talking about, like, doing some procedures and stuff. I mean, the House doesn't come back for 7 more weeks. So, okay, so it's on ice right now anyway, until they get back. So they tried to get Bondi to release, the grand jury testimony, and that didn't go anywhere because they were literally asking that judge to violate the law. So, and she was like, "I'm not going to do that in my state. You guys can go do that in New York if you need to, because that's where it was." But then you understand, like, there is a little bit of information that you can access on the grand jury. It was only two witnesses in the whole grand
That I
jury.
didn't know.
It was just two, and both of them were cops. So it was the cop who arrested him, and it was one FBI guy. That was it.
Now, there's a component of this, okay, where it sort of goes all the way back to your original assertion on this one here, where, all right, there is a version of this where I could absolutely see it as, guys, this is just an Al Capone's vault kind of thing, right? We all thought it was a big thing, okay? There's some people that you knew, okay, but mostly a
Yeah.
bunch of like, who is this guy? It's like, oh, well, this guy was a VP at Nike. This person was
See, and
right,
I almost guarantee you that's what it is, man.
right. Now, if that's the case, and you get out there and you say like, all right, so I'm going to release this to you,
Mhm.
right? And I know it's going to look like a nothing burger, right?
Yeah.
And I have nothing that I can do to show you otherwise, right? But it's not washed. This is what it is. I'm sorry it's a disappointment, but this is what it is.
If they had done that like 3 months
Wouldn't
ago,
have been a problem.
this wouldn't have been a thing.
Would have been. You can even at then they could have still paraded it around like, "Hey guys, this is sliced bread right here,
Yeah.
right? This is the coolest shit you'll ever see." As far as I'm concerned, that's what they should have done. But
Well, I mean, and part of it was that he had, like, there was a lot of support behind, oh, release the files, we'll vote for you, kind of thing. And so
yeah,
he kind of ginned up that fire a little bit, and that's so I think that's actually still the most likely outcome, is that there just ain't that much fucking there. Okay, it's Jeffrey Epstein doing bad things, but, like, in his own privacy, so to speak. But then, like, the guy's a financial advisor, so he's out there recruiting high dollar clients. Some of them like to get handsy with the help. Okay, and so that'd be one of those things. It's not like, oh, I need to record this and send it off to Jerusalem. Kind of thing. I think it's much more along the lines of, like, I'm really curious about his finances. I think they should poke into that a little bit. There is distinctly a non-zero chance that dude was running a fucking Bernie Madoff style Ponzi scheme, you know.
I
And
wouldn't
then
doubt it.
people were asking for their money back. Come on down to the island. Let's talk about it. It's like, oh, you need a massage? Yeah, get a massage. And the guy says, hey, I need my money back. He's like, yeah, about that. Yeah, she was 14. I have no idea, man. That's just that's the extent of my conspiracy
videotape
brain.
everything
Yeah.
over here for a reason. I mean, let's.
But Bill Clinton's too smart to get wrapped up in that. So Donald Trump's too smart to get wrapped up in that. So, but they would be in a situation. I was like, yeah, okay, like intern on the office, in the Oval Office, fine. The porn star in my own hotel, fine. So kind of thing.
Supposed to be Donald fucking Trump.
Donald fucking Trump, yeah.
It's
Bill motherfucking Clinton.
right. The one and only.
Yeah,
Love those other Bill Clintons? No.
The idea that a guy, Jeffrey Epstein, could outsmart these two guys is a little ridiculous. But the other thing is probably there's a non-zero chance of it. There's some behavior that would jeopardize their marriages that they do not want to come out.
Okay, right. Okay, so again, we got back to the attended, his daughter's wedding. Right. So let me just put it this way. It's clear to me that Bill Clinton and Donald Trump ran in some very similar circles.
I bet you they saw each other on a regular basis.
All the time. And I'm willing to say that even though they're on different parties now, they probably did, and still have a lot of the same friends. The people that needed to be protected then are probably the same people that need to be protected now because they're friends with both of them. And there's a chance, look, if anything, I talked about like Nike guys, I'll bet you that if there's any frequent hitters on that list, right, are going to be the people that you're kind of like, oh, but I kind of like that guy, because there's going to be Hollywood people in there. There's going to be actors in there that you like.
Broadway dudes. Yeah.
Broadway dudes. You're going to be like, fucking Affleck? It's like, yeah, of course. That's like, yeah. Like, he's like, dude, number one. I'm like, you'd be the first one. I was like, okay, so my first trip. This is like, I feel like he would have let that slip in a
punch card.
Yeah. It's like, okay, like, after the fifth time, you get a sandwich, right? So there's this version of thing where, like, I feel like he's been so drunk in different opportunities where he would have just said it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I didn't tell you what goes on there. I'm going there later this week. I'm drunk right now.
Yeah, right.
It's like, you're talking about a guy who's like...
Sorry, it's a day that ends in Y.
What was his prank that he loved to do? He'd love to walk behind you, unzip and put his balls on your neck.
Who?
Right? Ben Affleck.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He's a child in a lot of ways. That's why he's divorced like 3 times.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I'm talking about. Like, some moron would have already said, like, I've been to that island. It's like, I would tell you who I saw there.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like, so I was in the lobby, right?
Well, and that's the other thing is they just don't see it. It's like, why hasn't somebody squealed? If there were hundreds and hundreds of girls and hundreds of clients, somebody would squeal. So, I mean, come on, dude. Like, fucking keeping something like that quiet, that's impossible. So... It's impossible. You eventually get your ticket punched, So.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll say it like this and we can put this to bed, right?
Okay.
Is I do think that in the past, we have seen conspiracies play out, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have seen things where people said this wasn't happening and they actually happened.
Yeah.
I will point you to the COVID files right there, and I can say, these are the people who are complicit. These people covered it up. These people were reaching out to people on social media and saying, silence this. This all happened.
Yeah.
Right?
It got found out fast, too. So.
Well, okay. How did it get found out? World's richest man bought the fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, got it. Now, that's the thing is, would it have stayed quiet? Probably. Right?
Oh, no, there were a lot of guys on that one, man.
I get it. But, I mean, here's the thing. They shut it down, and they were content to shut it down. So I'm just going to put it out there that we have seen things that were like, this is conspiracy, this is bullshit. Then it turned out to be real. We've been seeing this happen. Now, the problem here is, even with like the COVID files, there was still a version of that where that and the Twitter files and everything, you're sitting watching these things and you're like, yeah, that's bad. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, that's bad. And the end result is like, yeah, but that's it, huh?
Kind of,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. You get to it, it's like, really? That's as deep as it goes? Oh,
And so when it comes
it's not
down,
even a full movie. It's half a movie.
exactly, it's like you've been sitting there, it's just like fucking like man, like 1984 was a long time ago. Fucking like I remember how much I love Return of the Jedi, and you know it's 15 years later. It's 1999. It's like I want to see this Star Wars movie. It's going to be everything I thought. You watch, it's like that's pretty cool, I guess. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
You hype the
It's
shit
kind
up
of
for
like
a
the
long.
Roger guys, you know?
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You know, it's just kind
yeah,
of racing got a little boring, huh?
yeah, yeah,
It's just like like
yeah.
weird, like stupid, like two-headed racing announcer kind of bothering you. It's like, yeah, kind of,
Kind of, yeah, a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit, yeah.
yeah. So there's
Uh,
this.
Everything looks like Muppets. Yeah.
And there's this thing where I can tell you, it's like something's there, and whatever's going to come out will come out, but there will be like, that's interesting, that's interesting,
Yeah.
that's it, huh?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and I mean, that was the whole thing with all the Russia stuff that came out last week. It was like, where's the rest of it? Come on. It
it's like, no, this is it.
was
This is
like,
just
oh, it's these two fucking guys. These two guys? Okay. And a couple minions. All right. So there's no signed order from Barack Obama that implicates treason. Oh, wait, you just told me that he's passed a statute of liberty. Never mind. It was like,
go ahead,
well,
man.
I saw that guy on TV live from in at Congress. Isn't that a crime? And they're like, yeah, it is, but we'd have to catch that in the first year. Like, oh, got it. Okay.
And that's kind of where I'm at with this here is like some will come out and somebody is probably on there, but it won't be like, do I think there's something to it? Yeah, yeah. And is it being covered up? Yes, but when it comes down to will this be one of those earth shattering like aliens have lived among us forever kind of moment? And
See, that's disappointing that none of that stuff is coming out too.
not going to happen.
I don't. I just don't think it's there, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a movie that ends within the first 10 minutes. It's kind of
I
like,
agree.
wait a minute, that's just a long
These are
preview, man.
just like the conspiracy theories are coming out and they were real, but just not.
They're just not. They're not up to
Just
Hollywood
no.
standards,
Yeah,
man. You know, like
exactly.
they did
Yeah.
that whole fucking dump on Martin Luther King, and I've only seen a few people comb through that shit because there are hundreds of thousands of documents
Yes.
in that thing. You know, and it's like, well, actually, like historians already pieced most of this together. And I was like,
Exactly.
well, oh,
Well, because I mean that's the thing. Is the same thing goes with like the JFK files, where you're like, okay, well, because we've been combing this over relentlessly
yeah.
for 6 decades, like a lot of people are like,
Fucking
well,
nephew's in the administration for crying out
right.
loud. You know,
You're looking at all the things, you see all this, like, okay, so even though this wasn't reported, this blah 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 blah, they released a whole bunch of stuff. You're like, well, this confirms everything that we thought.
it's just like you're approved for a mortgage, sir. I was like, oh, I was trying to sneak in here or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
and yeah, I understand where you're waiting. It's like, all right, so now they're unsealed. It really was a Yeti that did it. Like that's the thing. It just doesn't. It
Loch Ness, you
just
say?
doesn't
Yeah, yeah,
happen.
no,
It
it just
just
doesn't work.
yeah. It's like, was there conspiracy? Did they hide shit? It's like, yes,
Yeah,
this is why they hid it.
yeah.
Right?
It's
You
like,
knew
oh, that
that.
guy's still alive.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Because there was a lot of Occam's razor that was just kind of like, this is the only thing that makes sense. And then they show the file. It's like, actually, that's the only way the math adds up.
Right, yeah. It's like, well, there's no remainder.
It's like, you happy now?
Yeah,
Can we put this to bed? No, because there are a lot of people, like, that's the thing is, people are going to say, release the real JFK files. Release the
they're
real.
already out there. Yeah,
That's what I'm
they're
saying.
out there. Yeah,
When this comes out, release the real Epstein
yeah,
list,
yeah.
right?
They're all out there. So it's going to be hilarious. They're going to bang on JD Vance in a couple of years on that. We'll see.
You know who won't give a fuck?
Donald Trump.
JD Vance.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but you know, it's like our the disturbance, the ripple that I feel in the forest turns out to be true. He might not have the easiest time.
We'll just have to wait and see.
We're
Yeah.
gonna put that one on ice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. All right.
All right.
Let's put it on ice.
I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
It's on ice.
All right.